Senate Democrats blocked GOP-led bill to ban transgender athletes from women's sports. Senate Democrats on Monday blocked GOP-led bill that would ban transgender athletes from women's and girls' sports at federally funded schools and educational institutes. The bill's failure to advance highlights the limit of Republicans' narrow margin in Congress. Despite control both chambers, the party still needs support from Democrats in the Senate for most legislations to clear 60 vote threshold. The party line vote was 51 to 45. The Senate vote comes as GOP-led states across the country continue to put forward anti-trans measures, including bills intended to keep transgender students from playing on sports teams consistent with their gender identity. I thought this was like done deal, but for me, I'm kind of like this, man. They should just make a trans league.
I mean, we keep on rehashing this subject, and it's like not saying that it's a negative thing, but it just gets to the point to where they're just beating this up right now. You know what I mean? Like it should just be what it is. I mean, everyone understands that that's why there's boy and girl leagues. We all know why, and so there should not be any kind of like there should not be any kind of like dispute about who should be where or where. I'm watching sports. I'm seeing this kid, man. His boy. I mean, he ran like track or something against these girls. I mean, it's just sad to see.
Was that
This
the
is
one
what,
where he won and it was like before? Was that the track one? Because there's one where he was like he was when he was a boy he tied for fourth place or fifth place and he had to hold it with the other person and they tied and then when he went to the women's sports now he's dominating.
yeah. I
At the
mean,
end, yeah.
it's just sad that they allow that to even happen,
I
man.
feel bad for the girls in the sport because think about it, you get all the way up to be the greatest in your sport, and then this person decides, hey, I want to be a girl or whatever. Then they come in there and they dominate, and so your record book is gonna reflect that. Like you've worked your whole life. It's not fair to the women, and that's who I'm looking out for in this.
And,
And I'm like saying, hey, they didn't let black people play in baseball, so what do we
mhm.
do? We made our own league,
Yeah, absolutely.
and
I
it was
mean,
successful.
and it's not even about them even wanting to have their own league. I just believe. I think it's just like it doesn't matter what you identify as. You are this biologically. Period. Plain and simple. So you should not be, playing sports against girls. I mean, girls shouldn't be playing sports against boys. We allow it though because we understand there's a difference. So that's what we all need to understand. There is a difference. So this isn't a thing to where it's okay for this to happen because it would never be okay for it to happen. It should never be okay for this to happen. Period. I mean, this is not to me, it shouldn't be a Democrat or Republican thing. It's a decency thing.
Yeah.
Period. We understand what this should be. So everyone needs to just get on the same track and keep it where it needs to be instead of getting involved with people's parenting, how they parent their kids, how they that's not anyone else's issue. Period. Plain and simple. And that's just how I feel. But I think that this needs to be put to bed, man. This is a bad subject for Democrats especially because Democrats have tended to stand up for a right that I don't believe that
And
anyone
it's
should
crazy.
have.
Like this is the only thing they've been able to stop. Everything else has been happening to us. Think about it.
But
They didn't stop nobody losing their jobs. They didn't stop any of the
I,
extra
I
stuff.
think it's
But
because they probably needed a filibuster proof majority. They probably needed so that he needs 60 votes. Because if it was just a simple up and down vote, they have 51-45.
yeah, well, it
They
looks like the
had it.
Democrats are only really, looking after the transgender community and the migrants.
I wouldn't say that. The reason why I say that only because there's certain things you can stop. If they bring it up for a vote and you can stop it with a 60, they would be able to stop his budget if they could. If they didn't go through reconciliation with his budget, which saying that all spending will be offset by cuts, which is not really true, but they're going to be able to show that like by showing fake numbers in the future, like, oh, but in the future, us giving the rich people this much money will add this to the economy. That's
Yeah.
what they'll do. They'll bring it through reconciliation so they can have a simple majority vote. And so some of this stuff doesn't have simple majority votes. So that it just looks that way, but it's not that way. If they could stop his executive orders, they would do it. But they can't stop his executive orders because that's something the president has access to just doing. There's no vote on that. But that's kind of why that is.
Yeah.
So I mean, to me, man, this needs to be put to bed, man. We need to move on from this subject, and find something else to really talk about, man. I got something important for us to talk about as well.